Yo, what's up, neighbors? Hey, my name's Dustin Kuzan. This is my first episode of a channel that I've had for a little bit, trying to think about how to make this channel. And it's called Purple Mountains, and it's about how do we bring back America together instead of being divided. It's called Purple Mountains out of the song, and purple's a color that what you get when you mix red and blue. And so that's what this channel's about, right? But since I'm talking about America, and there's so many different ideologies in this country that we're tearing each other apart, that I want to be clear on who I am as an American. First of all, you can see I'm spiritual. You can see that I believe in certain things that some people don't. And I'm also a proud deadhead, all right? And I like them mostly. Their music's good, but the best thing that they have is the culture that is around that. And if you've never been to a concert, you gotta go to a concert. It's cool. But what I believe is that we need something new. We need to start talking about something different than what the media and social media has conditioned us to believe is either left or right, or red and blue. Because we're fighting over things that aren't making any changes in this country. They're not helping anybody, except for the rich and the elite. And there's a lot of very important things that we should be talking about as a people that are being ignored because we're fighting with each other in the streets, literally, in places like Minneapolis. And I'm 40 years old. I was a teenager when the internet came out. I was playing on the internet, looking things up. My parents had no idea because they didn't even know what the internet was at the time. Most adults didn't know what the internet was, but I was playing with it as a middle schooler. I was the first generation on Facebook. I was on Facebook in college before Facebook came out to the rest of the world. I had my own AI startup. I believe in the United States of America, that there should be state power. So when we have these divisive ideas, they should be decided at the states, not at the federal government. Things like marijuana, things like guns should be decided at the states. Because I do believe that we should all have access to guns. I believe we should all have access to medicine. I believe we should all have the freedom to express ourselves any way that we want, to believe anything that we believe. And the purpose of the federal government is to cover the gaps in between. That's the very essence of the 10th Amendment, which says that the federal government only has the powers that the states give it. And I live in Virginia now. I live right on the border of where red and blue meet, coming out of DC. I used to live in Maryland, which was mostly all blue. I was the minority there in the city where I ran for office, and I lived there for 11 years. And I ran for office during BLM protests, and I didn't win. And I was told many times I couldn't have been supported by some of my closest allies in politics because I was a white man at a time when BLM was protesting and the black community needed to stick together. I've seen and heard things, I've heard things at political events about black power and suppressing whites. But I've also heard the opposite, of whites feeling they're losing control in this country and they need to take it back. I grew up in Philadelphia in the 90s where there was a park with a concrete dividing line, a drainage ditch that ran through the center of the park. And 1,000 feet over there, there's a black basketball court. That's where the black kids played. And then I played on the white basketball courts. But my buddy would go over to the black side, and sometimes we would play with them. But we were told it was extremely dangerous to do that, to go play with the other kids, play basketball, when we literally see each other across the park every day. That's the American experience I've had. This is the American experience of what I have built myself to be, my identity. And we all have different identities, we all have different backgrounds, we all have different ideas, different thoughts, but I think there's one thing that we all have in common, and it's this idea of freedom. And we cannot get to that freedom if we centralize government power. It needs to be retained at the states. If we can't agree, we resolve it at the state level, or even lower than that. So there's more to come. I got a lot more. I'm going to cover data centers and technology, AI. I'm going to talk financing, stable coins, local election. I'm probably going to run for office this year. I'm going to talk about party politics a lot and try to find the middle ground. I'm going to try to point out where we're divided, but where we can come together. And in that, I hope that maybe we can form something purple. Maybe. There's a lot of talk about it. But maybe. Let's just start talking. Let's see where it goes. All right? God bless everybody. I'm not even a big God guy, but God bless America. All right?